Hello you guys. Today is Sunday. It's about evening time. The sky looks pretty cool looking. I just figured I'd take y'all with me for a little walk. Figured we would just walk around in the bottom, maybe up to the church house and back or something. And try to do a little bit of leaf peeking. I don't think we'll find very many leaves or nothing like that, but oh well, we'll try. We'll go out and see what we can find and stuff. Look how dark looking the sky looks. Pretty. I love the fall. Yeah, most of the leaves around here, they get pretty nasty and stuff. But look how pretty the sky looks right through there. Across this road here. Excuse me. I'm out here in cut off pants and a t-shirt. I burn up all the time, so I'm always cutting on clothes. I usually try to save like 1 or 2 outfits or something like that that's halfway decent, ain't cut up or something. Just save those for when I have to be seen, like going to a doctor's appointment or something like that. It's probably about, I don't know, 40 something degrees out here maybe. I'm not really sure. Tried to get my youngest daughter to go with me on a walk, but she wouldn't. She's too sorry. She wouldn't go. So I'm going by myself. But whatever. Look how pretty that is. It's real beautiful. Let's just go down here, go around this way, and let me scroll in so y'all can see what a cool looking sky it is. That's just pretty. Let's walk around this way though. We probably won't see that many leaves. Here's one right here. A little yellow one. It's pretty. But we'll go around. Just go for a walk. I could always use the exercise, even if I ain't walking fast. It helps me to move around more. Excuse me. Here's a brown one. It's pretty. Very beautiful. I really don't mind the cold weather that much. I like mild temperatures and cooler weather. I don't like the hot weather. I don't like to sweat. I don't like to burn up. Here's one. Kind of like a rusted looking color. I see one over here. It's pretty. I like the yellow ones. Sorry if I don't talk a whole lot, you guys. I just looking around, enjoying this day, enjoying being alive, and enjoying nature. I don't know the identities to any kind of trees and leaves and stuff like that much. I failed in that category. It's pretty. That's real pretty over there. Sky and stuff. Sun going down. Mud puddle over here. Let's walk over here in this mud a little bit. That right there rock would be a good little flat rock to paint something on. I'm gonna have to get back into it eventually, painting rocks. I ain't did it in forever. There's some leaves. These are pretty. That's real pretty. Creeks down there. We're just leaf peeping, you all. Peeping at leaves. Going for a walk. On a side note, my ear is feeling so much better. So much better. My ear is. I mean, it's still hurting a little bit, but it's nothing like how it was. If you can look over there, I'll try to scroll in. They got bamboo growing on the other side. That's pretty cool. Of the creek there. Let's just go down this way and go for a walk down here. These are pretty cool looking ones. That one and that one. Here's a pretty one. It's a pretty leaf. Around the creek is a good place to get rocks and stuff like that to paint on if you're into painting rocks. I haven't painted no rocks or nothing like that in probably about a year or so, or over a year or so. Here's some vine growing on these trees. Look like fairy trees, a little hoe in that one. It's cool looking. This vine growing up this tree here. Always like this side over here because of those vines and stuff that grow on these trees. Now this is a pretty view over this way, where the sun's going down over the mountains. It's pretty. It's real pretty. It's a pretty view up there on the mountaintop with the sun going down. Beautiful, beautiful right there. It's gorgeous. Looks like the mountains are on fire where the sun's going down and it's trying to storm. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There's some moss growing on the little tree branch. Now there is some walnuts and stuff over here falling off the tree. Here's a big old leaf. It's a pretty, that's a beauty. It's a beautiful one. There's walnuts. Walnuts on the ground. Walnuts. That's beautiful up there. Big mud hole here. It's pretty. It smells like rot right through here. I'm sure there's some kind of dead animal. Something near the creek over there. And I say, hey, 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 yeah. I said, hey. I said, what's going on? Somebody else's garden here. It's pretty right there. It's beautiful. I think the rain is just teasing us though, because it'll get real dark like this and it might sprinkle a little bit, but it won't hardly rain here lately. So, I don't know, I think it's just going through its teasing stage. I'm going to take you up here to the creek, and then I'm just going to turn back around, I believe. We'll walk back the lower end of the bottom on the way back before it gets too dark, I reckon. It's starting to get a little bit cooler now. I got a chill just now. Here's a pretty one. Brown and green. It's pretty. Haven't seen any brightly colored red ones. Nothing like that. The pretty red ones. As I went down to the river to pray, praying about the good old days, my Lord, show me the way. Yeah, I'm not really seeing too much of anything around here locally to me in walking distance of leaves or nothing like that on the ground that's that amazing or nothing. Nothing too amazing. This is kind of interesting, I guess. Green speckled one. And this brown one here. There's a different type of vine growing up the trees. We'll walk over here to this edge where there is like a reddish looking one. See if we can't find a red one. I don't think we'll have any luck though. Or nothing. See, here's the creek down here. And it is a good place to get rocks to paint on and stuff. If you're into painting rocks. I got one hand in my pocket and the other one a cigarette. Alright, let's walk over here to this little, there's all kinds of walnuts here. This little tree or shrub or whatever. It's red looking. Let's check it out. They don't really fall, but they turn that red looking color. Pretty. But they really don't fall to the ground. Okay. There's a yellow looking twig. Let's start walking back in the lower part of the bottom now, where we came from. We'll just walk back. See, them clouds are just going away. They're just passing us by. They're going more southwestern. They're just bypassing my area and stuff. Pretty sky. I still got some of that phlegm and stuff in my throat and stuff. Sinus drainage or whatever. Some tires. Someone's put next to the creek bed. Honestly, it ain't no wonder that you'll see all kinds of trash and stuff around here. Especially now. Oh, probably about 20 something years ago, they did have like a cleanup for tires and stuff. But they've always fined people like big time money over the tires. And it's really ridiculous. You have to pay to get tires hauled off of your own property. Or if you take them to a dump, you have to pay for them to be in that dump to get rid of tires. So it's no wonder, because nobody's got no money for the most part. So it ain't no wonder that people's gonna junk up everything and can't get rid of nothing like that. Bigger items, especially like tires and stuff, because they charge you so much. Like even if they just charge you like $6 to $8 a piece for them, like for somebody like me right now, that's just too expensive to take it to a dump or whatever and try to get it hauled off like that. So it ain't no wonder. That's just my opinion. Of course, because it's my channel. Woohoo. You don't like my content, you don't have to watch my content. Nobody's forcing you to do nothing. But I just think that that's why you'll see a lot more trash in general around rural places like this because of that. They have stupid logic. The people in charge, the bigwigs, they're ignorant. It should be free. Any and all trash should be free. at any time of the year, not just certain times of the year. And they barely even do it at certain times of the year anymore. But it should be free at all times of the year to get rid of. I think that's the one we already looked at. Digging. That's a beauty. I hear a dog hollering. I haven't really heard many owls or anything like that around here, like how it used to be. Here's the one, kind of looks like a heart-shaped leaf, like how it was probably about 5 or 10 years ago around here, growing up and stuff. We mostly have hoot owls around here. We have screech owls too, but they're mostly hoot owls. But I haven't really seen much of either one the past 5 or 10 years or so around here, or heard of any being around here like you used to hear them all the time, especially in the summertime. But we might have already looked at that one. It's pretty. But yeah, I don't know what the reasoning is or nothing. It's cute. Here's a kind of reddish looking bunch in color. Alright, we'll walk this side of the bottom down now and then turn back around and go up the other side of the bottom back to my house. I don't know, it looks like it's starting to come this way now. The clouds are. But it'll probably just be a tease. That's all it's been here lately. It's not really pouring the rain or nothing. Excuse me, it barely just sprinkles. You can hear some of the dogs in the distance howling. I have seen deer over here in the bottom before, but it's been a long time ago. It's not like they're always here or nothing. And I have seen like rabbits and stuff like that around here. But as far as seeing like anything major, like elk or anything like that, I've never seen an elk in this area. There's a big time widowmaker right there. See how it's cut down like that? I'm sure it's just fell over there. It's an old tree. But that's a big time widowmaker right there. But no, I don't think they would be down here in these flatter lands or nothing, no kind of animals like that. Yeah, I have went to Knott County before and seen the elk and stuff over that way. But I haven't over here in Letcher County or anything. Lots of leaves. That looks like that's a good size leaf over here. The green. I love green. Oh, it's beauty. It's a beautiful one. Big boy. That's a pretty one. It's a beauty. That's a big old base on this tree here. I've got big bones, and I've got big hands for a woman. I've got man hands. I'm only like 5'3", 5'4", or something like that, but I have huge bones, and I have big, huge hands. I don't like it that I do, but hey, we don't get to pick and choose what we are. Obviously, I would have preferred to be a little petite female, but that ain't the way that the maker had it in mind for me. So it is what it is. But that right there is a huge, huge barrel bottom on a tree there. It's pretty big. Probably about 3 or 4 times the size of me is that bottom barrel right there. Pretty good size for a tree around here. That's a pretty little muddy leaf there. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, I can't tell you the differences in trees and all that stuff around here. I should, that would be a great thing to know, but I couldn't tell you. I don't know what it is. That kind of just freaked me out just now. I know it's not nothing, but I looked over there and didn't see it. And first time I ever seen it. Right over there near that post, that looked like a little person standing there from afar, but it's not. Like next to it, it's some kind of cutoff or something, but it's not moving. It looked like a little person just standing there staring at me. Kind of freaky. I think it's another cutoff post or something. I know back in my mother's time period, when she was younger, and she went to a one-room schoolhouse up on the holler that she grew up out of. She said that one of the teachers, I think she said she was about in the 4th grade back when I was talking to her, but she said one of the teachers had taught her about all the local plants and trees and stuff like that. And I think that's something that really the public schools should do for each area that a person lives in. That would be very good knowledge to have or whatever, because I'm in that same category and I'm 43 years old, but I couldn't tell you like very many of the local plants or anything like that that's local to us. The highway's over there past the creek, so that's what you're hearing. I hear it playing now. I don't see it, but it sounds pretty low. There's a little bitty yellow one. This tree here has a swirl to it on its baseline. Just swirls in. Got swirls. This whole bottom was covered in water, even up to halfway in between the double wide's baseline there, or bottom, during that flood of July of 2022. This was all covered in water, even up to the highway on the other side, covered in water. It was only like maybe a foot or two away from the top of the railroad tracks on that side. That's what saved the houses on the other side of the railroad tracks where I live, was the railroad tracks being there. That's what saved them. Because if the railroad tracks hadn't been there, everything would have been like a big ocean. Because it was already like a lake. And so it would have been wiped out. I know this is kind of off subject, but it made me think of it just now where I was passing it. But one of the things that I love, and it brings back good memories to me, is the smell of wood, or just being around wood, like wood being chopped up and stuff. Because I have a good eternal memory from me as a child, and like my dad going to, I don't know exactly if it was a sawmill, because I don't remember, I was real young, but I went to some place with him, and I remember being in a little red wagon. I was a little bitty child, you know, and I was in a little red wagon, and I had like a yellow jacket on, like a yellow rain jacket, and they was cutting down wood, him and a bunch of other men. I don't remember if my mother was there or not. Here's a nice leaf, but here's another one. But anyways, that's just a good memory for me. I don't know, I guess I just like the smell of wood and sawdust and stuff, but it's also a good eternal memory. See that big one there, looks like that. And then this little yellow one. It's cute. But I've always liked the smell of wood being cut up and sawdust and stuff because of that childhood memory I have. And that's all I really remember of it. I don't remember that much or nothing. It's pretty. Over here, I'll walk y'all over here and then we'll walk back around. But there's some bamboo over here that one of my cousins had planted years ago before he moved. He moved up in the mountains, up in Blair Branch Mountain. My dad don't like the bamboo and he owns his property. He hates it. I like it though. See this bamboo here? It's like a little bamboo forest. It's grown up tall, real tall. If I'm not mistaken, I think the first year that you plant bamboo, it doesn't grow, and it don't grow for like 3 or 4 years, and then all of a sudden, after 3 or 4 years, that's when it starts taking off and growing again, and it grows like all at once or something. But I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's how it happens though. Now this is a big old tree. This belonged to my aunt when she was alive, my dad's sister. She passed away in 2019 though. And there's my cousin's house out there. You can't really see it, but during that July flood of 2022, it got all the way up to the top of her second level there where you're going into her porch on her house. This whole bottom, like I said, was covered in water. That's a huge tree there that's got a huge barrel to it. We're not going to walk up that direction, you guys. I'm just going to walk the bottom back with you all. We're going to walk around here this way. It's getting too dark to see really, but we'll try to see a little bit. That one looks heart-shaped. It's pretty. The ground where I'm walking at now, next to the railroad tracks here, is very mushy, soggy like. It's a pretty view there. My grandpa, my dad's dad, when he was alive, before my time, he was married to one other woman before he was married to my dad's mom. And I don't really remember for sure, but the way I was always told was him and his first wife, they had a little house over here in this part of the bottom and stuff before they divorced. But I never seen it or nothing like that. It was way before my time. And then he moved to where my uncle lives next door to me now and married my dad's mom and had him. Guys, I'm just going to warn you all. I didn't really want to have to bring it up, but I guess I should. Those of you who could potentially watch my videos or whatever, this property that I'm showing you guys is very private property. And I'm not trying to be mean or rude, but nobody is ever welcome here. This is very territorial area, a very family owned, dominated area, and there's always been cameras here, even before cameras was a thing. And not necessarily with my family that's intermediate kin to me or nothing, but a lot of the people around here in the past used to be into certain stuff, and so they put cameras up, even places that I've showed you in this video. They put cameras up years and years ago, and I'm talking like 30, 40 something years ago. Like I said, before cameras was even a thing. So no one is ever welcome to any of these properties. It wouldn't be good for you to come and show up on none of these properties. The only reason I'm showing you this, even though I'm the black sheep of my family, I'm living here. I still have access to this stuff. So you all can take it through my videos, the privilege I'm letting you all see this stuff, because even if it don't look like it to you, this is definitely, or you might not be able to understand, and I might not be able to explain it to you, But this right here area is a very privileged area of what I'm showing you. Not many people get access to this area that I'm showing you. People are always aware here, not just me, but people in these communities around here are definitely aware of other people coming in, whether you're driving by or whatever. You're definitely aware of it and you're being watched. So just don't come here. Nobody is welcome. Not trying to be mean or rude, but nobody is welcome to these areas, and it wouldn't be a good thing for anyone just to drive by or come down this road or to any of these houses or over in this bottom. Wouldn't be a good idea for nobody. I'll just put it like that. I'm warning you the best I can. I'm trying to be nice about it. Nobody else ain't gonna be as nice as what I am about a lot of things around here. And so I'm just trying to be as nice as I can to you guys about it. And I'm trying my best not to turn this into a hateful, negative video. I really keep a lot of things from you guys, because I don't want to turn my videos into such a negative video. Whenever I first moved over here and first got married and I was pregnant and stuff with my first daughter, my oldest daughter, I did get the option whether or not I wanted this piece of land over here in the bottom to move over here, but I didn't want it. And I'm so glad. I was tempted to take it just because it was bigger and I would have been off to myself. I'm so glad I didn't take it though, no matter what, because if I had took that, my house would have been gone during that flood. It would have been completely destroyed, and I probably wouldn't have had insurance then either to cover anything. So I'm so glad that I did not take them up on that opportunity. We might have even been unalive by now because of that flood that happened in July of 2022. It is a nice, pretty, big open view though around here. I think when my grandpa was a child, maybe, I might be wrong, but I think his family mostly use these flatter lands, the bottoms and stuff here, for like their cattle and stuff, to feed their cattle on. And then they would use the mountains, because when I was a child, I would grow up and I would find these mounds up in the mountains around here. And it was just like little rock mounds and piles of rocks that look like little, little, I don't know, like little triangle looking mounds or whatever. But, and I always wondered what they were. All it was is what I was told when I was younger, is they would clear off a place on the hillsides in the mountains to make their gardens back then. And so that's why they would stack up rocks and stuff to look like that, in little mounds and everything. Now, I'm not positive, but back whenever I was speaking to them, I had other family members that had said that while they've been over here gardening in the bottom now, they have found arrowheads and stuff like that from Indian tribes, Native American Indian tribes. Whenever I say Indians, I'm talking about Native Americans. Anyways though, and I'm pretty sure it was like Cherokee or whatever that was probably pretty dominant around this area, but I could be wrong. But anyways, the story I was always told is the Native American Indians would come to these places like this, these swampier type lands, flatter lands in Kentucky, and use them as their hunting grounds. And then like whenever it started becoming the fall and the winter of the year, and I don't know why they do this, but it doesn't make no sense to me, but that's what I was always told, was the Native Americans would go up north for the winter and the colder months. And it doesn't make no sense. They would go up to like New York or New York State or whatever. And that doesn't make no sense to me, even to this day, at like why they would do that. But you know, it kind of makes sense if it is accurate, because I don't know if y'all ever watched that show called Outlander, I think it's called, or no, it's Outlander. The Native American Indians in that show, they always, once they got over to the United States, like in North Carolina, and they started running into the Native American Indians, they always show them like they're going up north to like New York State and stuff in that TV show. So I guess that's true. I guess that's an accurate thing. But the way that they portray them and stuff, you know. But so I don't know who does the research or anything like that for all that stuff, but they must know what they're talking about. Because I know after the flood happened here, the July flood of 2022, some people contacted my mother at the time, and I guess it was archaeologists or whatever that studies that kind of stuff, and they offered for her to like they go through their bottom, even though it's my dad's bottom, but whatever, they're still married, so whatever, it's both of theirs, I guess. But anyways, they offered to go through their bottom and get like all kinds of arrowheads, dig them up for them, and just give them to them. But I don't remember the reason why or nothing. But they wasn't in town at the time, so they didn't do that. But I think like my uncle, he might have been here for that, but I'm not positive about it or anything. And I think that they gave him some, but he's always like finding arrowheads and stuff over there in the bottom, or used to was all the time. So that's what it was, is because they would just come in here to hunt and stuff, use this as their battlegrounds and hunting grounds and stuff. Whenever Native Americans, I guess, were located in most of these areas and these lands around here. To my knowledge, anyways. To my knowledge. I really don't know. That's just what I was told and stuff by other people. Obviously, I don't know stuff for fact because I'm 43 years old, even though I'm old. I'm not that old or whatever. And that's all I can share, is what little bit of knowledge that I do know and stuff. So, anyways, we're back over here at the house now. I'm gonna sit down here for a second and just be quiet for a second, and I want to end off on this video. Just gonna enjoy the rest of this video. Is an ASMR video before I shut it off. So if y'all have stuck around and watched for this long, I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks, and bye bye. Enjoy your nights. Excuse me. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.